Alexander wiped the grease from his hands, the familiar scent of hydraulic fluid and ozone filling his nostrils. 20 years he'd spent in the Galactic Mechanics Guild, and 15 of those under the command of Overseer Velcron, a towering Zentari with scales that shimmered like oil on water. The orbital station hummed around him, a testament to 1,000 species working in uneasy harmony. He shouldn't have been in the upper maintenance corridor. His shift had ended an hour ago, but a faulty pressure valve had called to his craftsman's soul the way a siren calls to sailors. Alexander never could leave a job half-finished, a human trait that bewildered his alien colleagues but earned their grudging respect. The door to Velcron's private quarters stood ajar, a sliver of light cutting through the dimness. Alexander hesitated. Protocol dictated he announce himself, but something made him pause. Through the gap, he saw his boss of 15 years standing before a mirror, and what he witnessed made his breath catch in his throat. The Velcron's clawed hands moved to his neck, and with practiced precision, he began to peel away his scales. They came off like a suit, a perfectly engineered second skin. Beneath the Zentari exterior stood something else entirely. Something with smooth, pale skin marked with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm. Alexander's hand trembled against the corridor wall. In that moment, 15 years of casual conversations, shared meals in the station cafeteria, and countless repair jobs realigned themselves in his memory like a puzzle finally revealing its picture. "You can come in, Alexander," Velcron's voice called out, but it sounded different now, clearer, without the guttural Zentari undertone. "I know you're there." Alexander's military training warred with his curiosity. He'd survived the border wars, faced down Kresh raiders, and pulled himself from a burning cruiser over Tau Ceti. But this was uncharted territory. That he pushed the door open. "How long have you known I was there?" The being who was not Velcron smiled, a disturbingly human expression on those alien features. "Since you entered the corridor. My kind, we sense electrical patterns in living beings. Your human neural activity is distinctive." "What are you?" Alexander kept his voice steady, professional. After 2 decades in space, he'd learned that panic got you killed faster than a hull breach. "We are called the Luminari. My true name is unpronounceable in your tongue, but you may continue calling me Velcron if you wish." The Luminari gestured to a chair. "Please sit. You've earned an explanation." Alexander remained standing. 15 years. You've been wearing that disguise for 15 years. Longer. I've been among the Galactic Council species for 3 centuries, moving from identity to identity, station to station. Velcron, or whoever this was, touched the discarded Zentari suit with something like fondness. "We Luminari are observers, Alexander. We watch, we learn, we record. The younger species need guidance." "Spies, you mean?" The word came out flat, emotionless. "If you like." Velcron's bioluminescent patterns flickered with what might have been amusement. "Though we prefer shepherds. The galaxy is more dangerous than most realize. There are threats the Council hasn't encountered yet, powers that would see all of you as nothing more than resources to be harvested." Alexander's jaw tightened. "And humans? What do you see when you look at us?" This was the question that mattered. In the Galactic Council, humanity was still considered primitive, barely civilized. They'd been granted membership only 70 years ago, and even now, they held the lowest tier of representation. Alexander had spent his career proving human worth one repaired engine at a time. That Velcron's expression shifted into something resembling wonder. "You want the truth? Your species terrifies the other Luminari observers." "Terrifies?" Alexander couldn't hide his surprise. "You adapt too quickly. You innovate without permission. You take our technology and make it better through sheer stubbornness." Velcron moved to a viewport, the station's rotation bringing a blue-green planet into view. Most species follow predictable patterns. The Zentari became master bureaucrats. The Kresh became warriors. The Talnari became artists. But humans? You refuse to be just one thing. The Luminari turned back to face him. 3 weeks ago, you solved a coolant distribution problem that had plagued Talnari engineers for 2 decades. You used something you called duct tape and a recalibrated pressure sensor. It shouldn't have worked, but it did. Because you humans have this irritating habit of making the impossible routine. Alexander processed this, his mind racing. "Why tell me?" Why reveal yourself? Because your fate has indeed shifted, Alexander. Velcron's bioluminescence pulsed with an intensity that lit the entire room. The Luminary Council has been debating humanity's potential for decades. I've been sending reports, arguing that humans need more than observation. You need a genuine chance to rise. The Luminari moved closer, and Alexander saw ancient wisdom in those alien eyes. Tomorrow, the council convenes to discuss the Crack's incursion in the outer reaches. They plan to abandon 12 colonies, including 3 human settlements. 20,000 of your people sacrificed because the council deems them acceptable losses. Alexander's blood ran cold. And you're telling me this because? Because I'm violating every Luminari protocol to give humanity what you've always done best with, a fighting chance. Velcron handed him a data chip, its surface flickering with encrypted information. Crack's defensive patterns, fleet movements, tactical weaknesses. Everything my people have observed over the past century. This is treason to your kind. Perhaps. Velcron smiled again. Or perhaps it's the most Luminari thing I've ever done. Ensuring the species with the most potential doesn't get snuffed out by bureaucratic cowardice. Alexander took the chip, feeling its weight, not the physical weight, but the burden of what it represented. Why humans? After 3 centuries of watching everyone, why bet on us? Velcron began putting the Zentari suit back on, the scales clicking into place with mechanical precision. Because in all my time observing, I've learned something the other Luminari refuse to acknowledge. Sometimes the best shepherds are the sheep who refuse to follow the flock. As the transformation completed, Velcron, once again appearing as the scaled Zentari overseer, placed a clawed hand on Alexander's shoulder. That valve you were fixing? I broke it deliberately. I needed you here tonight. The council meeting is in 36 hours. What you do with that information is your choice. Alexander looked at the data chip in his palm, then back at his boss. Those 20,000 people will live or die based on what humanity does next, Velcron finished. No pressure. Despite everything, Alexander laughed, a short, sharp bark of sound that was equal parts terror and exhilaration. You know what they say about us humans? We're too stupid to know when we're beaten. I'm counting on it, Velcron replied. Now go. You have a species to save, and I have reports to file that will keep the other Luminari looking in the wrong direction. Alexander moved toward the door, then paused. Will I see you again? The real you? The Zentari mask was perfect, but through it, Alexander thought he saw the Luminari beneath smile. If your species survives the next decade? Perhaps. But something tells me by then, it won't be humans asking permission to exist in this galaxy. It will be the galaxy asking humans for permission to join whatever you've built. As Alexander walked through the station corridors, the data chip secured in his pocket, he thought about fate and choices and the strange aliens who wore masks for centuries just to watch lesser species grow. But mostly, he thought about 20,000 humans who didn't know their world would be ash in a week, and the impossible plan already forming in his engineer's mind. Humanity hadn't earned its place in the galaxy through strength or wisdom or ancient knowledge. They'd earned it through the same stubborn refusal to accept reality that made a mechanic fix a valve after his shift ended, or take on impossible odds with nothing but duct tape and determination. Alexander smiled in the darkness. The galaxy was about to learn what humanity, fuck yeah, really meant. And somewhere behind him, wearing the skin of a Zentari overseer, an ancient Luminari watched the human walk away and felt something his species had long forgotten: hope.